Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the impact of new federal legislation requiring proof of citizenship for federal elections. Also tonight, teaching democracy through budgeting decisions. And Arizona's Restaurant Week is fast approaching. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. President Trump today held an Oval Office meeting with newly elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. It was the first meeting between the two since Carney won a national election on a clear anti-Trump platform, focused in great part on President Trump's repeated references to making Canada the 51st state, a reference that the president made again today.
I still believe that, but you know, it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, you know, as a real estate developer, you know, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be.
All of which failed to move the Canadian Prime Minister.
If I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, you know, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
President Trump's response to Prime Minister was, quote, never say never. Other headlines, the U.S. Supreme Court today ruled that the Trump administration can start enforcing a ban on transgender troops serving in the military. That ban had been put on hold by lower courts. Today's decision was an emergency application. It now remains in place while legal challenges continue. President Trump issued the executive order on the first day of his term. It revoked an executive order from former President Joe Biden that allowed transgender service members to serve openly. And attention travelers, Real ID starts for real tomorrow. That means the advanced form of identification is needed for air travel in the U.S. TSA's leader of security operations with a heads up.
I just want passengers to be aware that full implementation is taking place tomorrow. Give themselves plenty of time to make sure that they're able to check in with the airlines, and also we'll have staff in front of all our checkpoints to help and direct our customers as they transit through the security process.
As for those who want to fly somewhere but don't have their real IDs?
We are going to process you. It might take some additional time, but we're going to do it efficiently. We are fully staffed at all locations across the country, so I don't anticipate any wait times or delays as far as you're going through the security process, but we will process you. You will not be turned away.
The Real ID Act was passed by Congress back in 2005, but its deadline for enforcement had been repeatedly pushed back. Federal legislation known as the SAVE Act is raising concerns for how the law's proof of citizenship requirements for federal elections would impact the voting eligibility of a number of groups, including married women. To learn more, we welcome Jenny Guzman with Common Cause Arizona. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's define the SAVE Act. What exactly does it call for?
Yeah, the SAVE Act is federal legislation that would essentially hurt all Americans. It requires proof of citizenship regardless of whether or not you're already registered to vote, if you're updating your voter registration. It makes it so that everybody has to provide proof of citizenship and also adds additional barriers when voting.
Now, this is for federal elections only.
The SAVE Act right now, it's unclear if it would impact only federal or state. The way it's designed, we anticipate it impacting all elections.
Okay, I thought the legislation itself, though, targeted federal, but you're saying it could spill over into all elections.
Exactly. So the way that it's currently designed, because of the way that it's written, it could impact state elections as well.
What would be the acceptable documents?
The acceptable documents, for example, would be right now, when you register to vote, all you need is voter registration, and then most counties now require proof of citizenship. So when you're providing proof of citizenship, that typically means a U.S. passport or a birth certificate. Now, there's the Real ID that just came in, and
Yes.
as we know, that's being used in airports starting soon. But with that, that wouldn't be enough to register to vote. You would also need, whether it's your Real ID or your regular driver's license, in addition to that, you would also need to supply a U.S. passport or a birth certificate or another alternate proof of citizenship.
And this is when registering to vote.
When registering to vote, when updating your voter registration, or if you're needing to cure your voter registration.
And you must show these documents in person.
In person, right now, the way that it's written, again, it's a lot of stuff is very unclear, but the way that we're anticipating is that it'll require everybody to go in person to their voter registration offices and provide these documents in person.
This seems like it mirrors, to great effect, Arizona's proof of citizenship requirement.
Somewhat, for the most part. Some counties allow documented proof of citizenship to be done online, to be done via emailing. It depends on the county, but this goes even a step further. So it's a lot more strict than what Arizona already has in its law.
In Arizona, the two-tier system here, does that go away if this becomes law?
So this federal law would supersede what we currently have.
Yes.
So all of Arizona's counties would then need to follow through with what the SAVE Act would require from them.
So with that in mind, and because we have this two-tiered system, my goodness gracious, it's so complicated regarding federal elections. You only have to show this.
Right.
Other elections, you have to show more things.
Correct.
This, as you say, would supersede. With that in case, would the SAVE Act affect Arizona less than other states?
Definitely not. If anything, we would see it hurt people that thought that they were prepared because they've already gone through different proof of citizenship burdens through Arizona, but now they're going to see additional requirements and barriers.
Okay. Now, folks that have problems accessing documents
Yeah.
or getting documents that have the accurate name, these sorts of things, there's a lot of concern. And let's start with married women, because that's
Yeah.
the one that could that really be a problem?
Definitely. So when people get married, it takes them a while to be able to update whether it be their passport, their ID, all of their materials that has their updated name if they're changing their last name. Under the SAVE Act, everything would have to be already updated and accurate, and it would have to perfectly match their legal name. So if they're registering themselves with their updated name, but they're still waiting on receiving their passport, if they're still waiting to be able to save up to be able to afford some of these documents or whatever the case may be, they would not be able to register to vote, or they would go through many, many burdens.
Indigenous people.
Yes.
Impact there.
Yes, so Indigenous people, anybody that has a tribal ID, that may not be sufficient enough to be able to vote as well. You would also need to provide an alternate form of proof of citizenship, because tribal IDs themselves don't necessarily prove that somebody is already a citizen. So it would have additional requirements there as well. So this would impact tribal folks, married women, seniors, people in the military, and more.
College students?
Definitely college students. They would have to then make sure that they're providing accurate information. A lot of college students, when they go to college, they're not taking their birth certificate with them. They're not taking their passports with them. So a lot of the times that's left at home. But if they're wanting to register to vote, if they're wanting to update their voter registration or cast their ballot, they're going to need to provide that.
But the Real ID situation, though, sounds interesting. That would play a pretty big factor here, would it not?
Definitely, because you're already telling Arizonans and Americans across the country, hey, make sure you have everything. We need a Real ID. We need to make sure that you're a citizen. You already need to provide a lot of these materials to get a Real ID, but then you're being told, hey, guess what? Your Real ID isn't going to be enough to cast your ballot. It's not going to be enough to update your voter registration. Go find the rest of your materials
This
again.
legislation, this SAVE Act, and everything you've talked about, there's a lot of, it's vague in a lot of ways, but there is a target here. Why is this necessary?
I wouldn't say that it's necessary. If anything, the SAVE Act is hurting the people that it's claiming it's seeking to help. Because we know that already non-citizens voting is not a real issue. Arizona already has very complicated, very strict, very safe processes to be able to verify elections and to ensure that every ballot casted is safe and accurate. So what we're seeing with the SAVE Act is additional barriers that would make it more complicated and actually hurt American citizens, people that are eligible to vote, more than anyone else.
As a preventative measure, though, as far as, election fooling around, tomfoolery here, does it prevent that kind of thing?
Definitely not. What we're going to be seeing is everyday Americans, everyday Arizonans being impacted with their ability to participate in their civic duty. These are people that are not going to know until it's too late that they don't have the necessary materials to be able to register to vote, update their ballot, or more. And that is much more harmful than anything else that they're claiming is happening. We know that that's not true. We know that that our elections are secure, and this is only going to make it so that voters feel disenfranchised.
Give me a timetable and what to watch for as far as the legislation is concerned.
So at the moment, the SAVE Act has already passed the House. It can go to the Senate at any point. We don't have a date yet. We don't have a timetable necessarily as to when we can anticipate it. So it could happen anytime this year, anytime in August, anytime at the end of the year or later. But what we need to make sure is that folks are calling their senators, so in this case Ruben Gallego and Mark Kelly, contacting their local lawmakers as well and letting them know where they stand on this legislation and letting them know how they'd be impacted as well.
All right, Jenny Guzman, Common Cause Arizona. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the spring of 2020, as the country goes into lockdown, outside, the garden is coming alive. As a wildlife filmmaker, I knew there were revelations here that could be just as amazing as anything I'd ever filmed.
These bees that just go,
Discovering the secret life of bees took me on a journey I was not expecting.
Wednesday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
An experiment never done before.
We don't know what's going to happen.
action all vehicles.
To test how we react in a highway pileup.
What the hell's that?
And collect valuable data on safety systems.
To get you from point A to point B safely.
But how can they pull it off?
Oh my God!
Without putting anyone in danger. Ultimate Crash Test Countdown on Nova.
Wednesday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
I'm Chef Mark Tarbell. Welcome to Check Please Arizona, the show where Arizona residents recommend their favorite restaurants. In this episode, we're feasting at an Italian deli, a European-style bistro, and a restaurant serving modern cuisine alongside old-world cocktails.
Delicious, very tasty.
Crispy, and the inside was juicy. Way more filling than I was anticipating.
Yeah, it's stacked full of flavor, too. I had the same thing.
Thursday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
A new book looks at the idea of using budgeting decisions to teach civics and the fundamentals of democracy. The book is titled Educating Democracy, The Case for Participatory Budgeting in Schools. And the book's co-editors join us now. We welcome Tara Bartlett, co-director of the Arizona Civics Coalition. She's with ASU's Mary Lou Fulton College of Teaching. And Danielle Shigorensky, the director of the Participatory Governance Initiative at ASU. My goodness, that's a lot of titles and a lot of consonants in there. Good to have you all here. Thanks for joining us. Tara, we'll start with you. The book focuses and takes a lot of ideas on civic education, but it takes it from a different angle. Talk to us about this.
Definitely. So school participatory budgeting is very similar to a project-based learning approach or action civics approach, where students are really the steer leaders of this community, of their school community, in making the budgetary decisions. Everything from idea collection to the kind of development of ideas and proposals, presenting to their governing board members, and then actually facilitating a vote day with their peers in their school campus.
Yeah, allocating funds, collecting funds, figuring out what you want to do with it. And again, this deals with their schools, so it's the real world here.
Yes, unlike other programs for civic education, this is not a simulation. This is for real, this is authentic, and it involves the entire school community.
And I guess the kids learn what? They're trade-offs? You have to do a little horse trading here, true?
Not really.
No,
but they learn that there are limits to how much they can spend on the things they want to improve their schools. So they need to learn about trade-offs. They need to learn about making agreements. They learn to collaborate. They learn teamwork. Many things that are useful later on in life for the workplace, for college, and for life in democratic societies.
Isn't there a little bit of horse trading going on? Not at all.
Not really,
Not
yeah.
Really? All right, well, because I guess conflict resolution and teamwork, all that stuff,
Absolutely.
negates horse trading.
Yeah.
And talk to us some more. Give us like an example of what, there's so many things in that book. It's very deep and it goes into it really strong.
Yep.
Give us an example.
Yeah, so we actually wrote the introduction of this book together and then collaborated with 12 different authors across different countries of the globe. What we bring to the table in terms of our experiences here on the ground in Arizona. So I was an educator before and actually did this process in my classroom with students. And I would have to say my favorite process was actually an inclusive model. We partnered with the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Council. And they had kind of this mandate of this inclusion of students with disabilities. The process was a learning experience for everyone to ensure that this school participatory budgeting process is accessible for all students. And the winning project was a school therapy dog.
Oh my goodness, that's great. That's great. And again, through the process, the students learn all sorts of things, don't they?
Yes, they learn collaboration, they learn teamwork, they learn how to prepare a budget, financial literacy, but they also learn about communication skills. They learn many things that, as I said before, they are useful in life.
And now the book is designed to do what? To get folks that are interested in maybe getting involved with this? Talk to me.
Yes, well, this is the first book on school participatory budgeting. There are many books on participatory budgeting, which is used at the municipal level in more than 10,000 municipalities around the world. But this is the first book about school participatory budgeting. And we have 14 chapters with different countries, chapters from different countries. And the idea is to disseminate these ideas for any schools around the world who are interested in doing this.
Yeah, is this best practice kind of thing, isn't it?
It is, and it really marries the research findings side, which Danielle and I lead that in partnership with the Center for the Future of Arizona here on the ground throughout the state. And so it really brings forth, if you're a school and you're looking to improve your school climate, if you're looking to embed student voice, there are research best proven practices through this approach that we can offer.
Did I read this got started at the Bioscience High School in Phoenix?
It did.
Right here in town,
yes.
Huh? And how long ago was that? Do we know?
It was in 2013, was Quentin Boyce. He was a principal, and he started with $2,000. Yeah, 5 minutes from here.
Yes.
And he told the students, do something good for the school, don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
Started very simple, and the kids came up with very educational projects, like cameras for the microscopes, ink for the 3D printers, and outdoor pavilion, educational pavilion. But most of the proposals, there were 18 proposals on the ballot, they were educational. And because of that experience, it expanded to now we have more than 70 schools doing School PB in Arizona.
Wow, that's fantastic. And again, for those who are still a little confused where democracy, the concept of civics and democracy fits in. Talk to me about that.
So through our evaluation framework, we have a framework that's the CASP. So it's essentially the civic knowledge, attitudes, skills, and practices. Okay. So knowledge around how decisions are made within your school community, how public budgets work. So kind of all those democratic institutional type of knowledge pieces. And then attitudes, really working with, empathy and being able to critically think around some of the different projects and bringing not just your own project to the table, but thinking about what is going to benefit or impact the greater school community, right? A lot of the skills, critical thinking, communication, public speaking, and then the practices is thinking about how are you going to continue being, a quote-unquote citizen within your school community, picking up trash or making new friends with students that you didn't know before. So really this ecosystem that we want to see out in democratic life.
Well, yeah, please.
Yeah, democracy is how we make decisions together in society.
Yes.
And they learn how to make decisions together.
They do, but the budgeting problem, you get money involved and people perk up, don't they?
Yes.
They figure it out right quick. Congratulations on the book and congratulations on all this. It's really interesting. It reminds me like in business classes where they tell you, take a stock and see how far you go with it and that kind of thing. It's participatory. It keeps people interested and keeps them involved. Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Amna Nawaz. Tonight on the NewsHour, Canada's newly elected Prime Minister comes to the White House amid President Trump's repeated threats against the U.S. ally. That's coming up at 6 on Arizona PBS.
Arizona Restaurant Week is set to start May 16th. The annual event is designed to make it easier to try out a variety of participating local restaurants. This year's Restaurant Week, though, comes amid uncertain economic conditions that impact the restaurant industry as much, if not more so, than other sectors. And joining us now is Steve Chukri, the president of the Arizona Restaurant Association. Good to see you again.
It's good to be with you.
Yeah. Arizona Restaurant Week, for those who are new to all this kind of business, we've talked about it every year for a lot of years. Give me a definition.
It is a lot of years. And Ted, this is our 17th year for Spring Restaurant Week, our 18th or 19th year for fall. We'll come back to that later. But yeah, it's a great time of year because restaurants are effectively on sale for 10 days throughout the valley. And how it works is we've got 3 different price points, $33, $44, and $55. And you get a 3 entree meal, so appetizer, entree, and also a dessert per person. So it's a great, affordable opportunity to go out and dine out.
And it's an opportunity for restaurants to get people out there and trying things, huh?
It is, and actually this year being our biggest year, we have 220 restaurants participating for spring, which is our largest ever. And while we're grateful for that, I think it also shows that restaurants need some help right now. So we encourage your viewers to sign up for Restaurant Week.
I want to get to that help in a second here, but how do you know that the restaurant is participating?
Well, they all register with us. You have to register in order to go to ArizonaRestaurantWeek.com and view all the restaurants. And so we are the sponsors, so we control that. And then we promote it, obviously, right, through events like this and publicly as well.
So if you go to the website, you can find out all the restaurants that are involved. If your favorite one's there, or if something you want to try out is there, that's where you go?
It's a one-stop shop. ArizonaRestaurantWeek.com. You can make a reservation. You can see menus, everything, Ted. So you can do all of it at one time.
Wow, very good. All right. Let's get to the economy. It's wobbly. It's a wobbly economy here, Steve. And the impact on restaurants, there has to be an impact on restaurants. What are you hearing out there?
It is an impact. You know, I've been at this job for 24 years now, and this has been somewhat of an eyebrow-raising moment for the industry because for the first time, we've seen slowdown in the fast casual segment, which we've never seen a slowdown here in Arizona, the fast casual segment. So between fast casual, Ted, and casual, so a casual restaurant would be like an Outback Steakhouse. A fast casual would be a Panera. Right? So where you go and you order and they bring it to you.
Yes.
So for us to witness that right now is a little unique. It's not completely uncommon, but a little unique. And I think it goes to something you said earlier, right? The uncertainty in our economy, what's going to happen? Is my job going to still be there? These cuts, everything else happening.
How is that impacting restaurants? I mean, just give me the average restaurant and what all of these headlines are doing to morale, doing to future budget, the whole 9 yards.
Well, it's everything. It's you know, if you're not growing at greater than 3%, you're losing, right? Inflation for the most part is always pegged at 3%. For the restaurant industry here in Arizona, for the past couple of quarters, we've only seen our growth above 2%. Not above that 3%. So that doesn't give us cause for concern, but it does give us cause to be cautious. And so we're going to clamp down on our expenses, on our labor. Rents, as you know, some restaurants are closing because rents have just gone up so high. So while there's some bad news, there's still some good news. We've got 37 restaurants, new restaurants participating in Restaurant Week this year, and we've got new restaurants coming up. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag when you talk the economics.
Were there lessons learned during COVID that can be applied now?
Absolutely. It's how do we get better at what we do, and especially with the takeout. Takeout was usually about 5% of your sales prior to COVID. After COVID and during COVID, it shot up to 25%.
Yeah.
And we still see that, Ted, hover around 20%. So that's one thing the industry, not only here in Arizona, but across the country, has gotten very good at, is how can we get food out the door to people's homes the way they want it.
You mentioned fast casual and casual and these sorts of things. Give me the kinds of restaurants that are doing very well right now. And besides the casual fast, are there other kinds of restaurants that are struggling? And especially because of the uncertainty. I mean, we just talked about supply chain yesterday. We had a supply chain expert from ASU. And there's stuff coming in from China. These boats are half full, and that's now. Some of these things are going to be empty here in the coming days.
They could be. You're absolutely right. You know, fine dining we've seen pretty successful still yet. Where people can afford to dine out if they're going to go to that higher price point. Again, fast casual and casual, we've seen a slowdown. Quick service is still going well. And to your viewers, you know, we're seeing comebacks of $1 menus and things that were gone for a while. Really, the quick service industry has gotten aggressive on making sure they can keep their restaurants affordable.
Are there parts of town that are hotter than others?
You know, the West Valley continues to grow, and we really like to see that. We've got 10 new restaurants joining Restaurant Week from the West Valley alone. So almost a third of the restaurants, new restaurants participating in Restaurant Week, are coming from the West Valley. But really, West Valley, East Valley, seeing monumental growth.
And as far as new restaurants opening up, because you read the paper, there's so many restaurants opening up on a monthly basis here. Are they hanging on longer than usual, or are these things coming and going quicker than usual?
Well, as you know, this industry isn't for the faint of heart. They're holding on longer. And if it wasn't for our population growth, I'd be very concerned, right? Because you have so many restaurants opening, you've got to feed people, right, in order to be successful. So that combined with our great population growth in Arizona is really bolstering our restaurant economy. And look, there are always going to be brighter days ahead. I think when we get through the doldrums of summer, our hope is fall will self-correct what we're seeing right now in the fast casual and casual segment.
Okay, and again, for anyone that wants to get more information, it lasts how long?
May 16th, goes for 10 days. And if you go to ArizonaRestaurantWeek.com, you could see everything right there.
All right, very good. Steve, real quick, before we go, you've been doing this a long time. What got you in the restaurant business?
You know,
give me an elevator speech on this.
You know, I interviewed for a Saturday morning, and I said they don't want me; they want a restaurant guy. I was a busboy for 2 days, and I quit because I knew I'd get fired on the third. So I learned that, and then I'm a lover of the restaurant industry. I'm an investor myself. You know, I've invested my own dollars into it. So one of the best industries known to man.
Steve Chucri, great representative, Arizona Restaurant Association, and Restaurant Week is coming up. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
All right. That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.